Welcome to Mumbai, India. This is where we lived for 2 years back in the 2008 time frame. We're happy to be back again. What you first saw was the Taj Mahal Hotel, and here is the Gateway of India, our first two stops on our trip today. We're with Mark and Jane Sweetman, just the four of us. So we stopped by the cricket pitch, which is right downtown. Indians are crazy about cricket, and we actually watched some cricket when we lived here for those 3 years. The T20 matches are shortened versions of the full cricket game. Our next stop was the Chhatrapati Shivaji train terminus, which is probably the most busy train station in the world. Every day on a normal work day, 7.5 million people come into town on the I think there's something like 17 platforms. I don't know the exact number, but this is an incredibly busy train station, and it's also a landmark for Mumbai. I'll show you a picture of it in a minute from the outside. And Jane Sweetman's going to go get on one of those trains in just a minute. There she is. And we can show you what the inside looks like. On a normal day, a weekday, these things are packed to the gills with people. There's almost no room to even stand. This is Mark and Jane's first trip to India, and so we were their tour guides for the day since we were familiar with Mumbai. And we took them to the Taj Hotel, we took them to the Gateway of India, the fish market, cricket pitch, and then here's the outside of the train station. It's an iconic looking building. You can see down to the left are all the platforms. It was smoking hot today. We were, and it was humid, so we were really drenched by the time the day wore on. Our next stop was Crawford Market, which is a really interesting place. I think anybody goes to Mumbai needs to stop by Crawford Market. You can buy anything here. We're in the fruit section, and of course, it was Alfonso mango season, we are happy to learn. Right in the middle of the season, so the Alfonso mangoes are the best in the world in our. So while we were at Crawford Market, we bought a dozen mangoes tonight, which we later broke out, and you'll see at Kamala Nehru Park, we went to later, we busted out the mangoes and consumed all 12 of them at once. It's a very colorful place. We also bought a kilo of fresh cashew nuts. Some of the best cashews in the world come from India. We used to eat them all the time when we were here, so we bought another kilo of them, which we took with us back on the ship. Anyway, it's too bad you can't transmit the smells of the market along with the video and the voice. A very unique place. Our next stop is going to be the Jain Temple, which even though we lived here for those 3 years, I'd never been into this Jain temple before. It's up on top of a hill that kind of overlooks the city, so there's good vistas of the city itself from up here. But this Jain temple was quite interesting. There's a lot of different religions in India. The main religion, of course, is Hindu, and Well, when they created both India and Pakistan back in 1940, I think it was 47, they wanted the Muslims to move north into Pakistan and the Hindus to stay south. There's already still a great number of Muslims in India, and you'll see a little later on we're going to stop by Haji Ali, which is a Muslim temple. It's situated on a small island off the coast. But this Jain temple was interesting, and there was a couple of customs. You had to take your shoes off to go in, and you weren't supposed to turn your back on any of the idols that were there. A lot of incense burning going on. A lot of people worshiping as we walk. So, in addition to the majority Hindu and Muslim population, there are Jains, there are people, other parts of the video that are wearing turbans. Those are all Sikhs, and they all have a common last name of Singh. And my boss that I used to work for was AP Singh, also a Sikh. And the next stop after the Jain temple was the Hanging Gardens, and I want to talk about the Parsi religion. There's Parsis that have a temple up there, and the Parsis believe in their burial methodology is to lay the bodies out and let the vultures consume them. There's a place called the Temple of Silence up on the top of the hill by the Hanging Gardens, where they place the dead, and you'll be able to see the vultures circling around. It's the most unique burial method I've ever seen. So here we are. This is the next stop. It's not far from the Jain Temple, Hanging Gardens. This actually is a huge water tank where water is pumped up here and serves most of the southern part of Mumbai. We used to live up near Powai Lake in Hirnandani Gardens, and the water is pumped from Powai up to this tank. The reason it's called Hanging Gardens is because these gardens are suspended on the roof of the tank. And off in the distance, you can see those tall buildings. There's a tall black one, and the one to the right of it, to the left of it, is where Mukesh Ambani lives. The whole building, 27 stories, is his house. Has a helicopter landing pad and several layers for parking, and it's just unbelievable. But also off in the distance, as we get closer, is where the Parsi Temple of Silence is, where they place their dead and allow the vultures to consume them. So we're going to walk over. And again, it was smoking hot today. We were really perspiring a lot going through here. Not a whole lot of shade. Oh, you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see the vultures circling or not, but they were kind of off to the left. Our next stop was called Adobe God. It's the world's largest open-air laundry facility. It was originally built so they could do the laundry for the British folks who were ruling in the military. But since they're no longer here, they do a lot of laundry for the hotels and local folks. So the family passes on the trade from one generation to the next, You can see they got huge washing machines down there, and they just hang out all the laundry to dry. So it's Dobie Got. There are a bunch of kids. This is a popular tourist spot. A bunch of kids selling stuff, which we bought a few little trinkets from them before we left. So our next stop after this was Mani Bhavan, which was Mahatma Gandhi's residence, and I don't think I got any pictures of Mani Bhavan, but it was a very interesting visit to walk through and see the chronology of his life. So after Mani Bhavan, we stopped at Haji Ali, which is a Muslim mosque. Yeah, sorry, Muslim mosque that's located on a small island off the coast. So you could see downtown or midtown Mumbai in the background, and we're out on the island by the mosque. And there are people swimming, all kinds of people swimming in this water. And so the city of 19 million, at least when we were here, didn't have any sewage treatment. It just dumped out into the oceans. This water is brown. And there must have been 150 people out there swimming, a lot of kids. I sure wouldn't put my toe in that water. So this temple does have some inlaid marble. And sorry, it's not a temple, it's a mosque. It does have some inlaid marble and some nice marble work. And I sped it up a little bit here so we can get through it. Without taking too terribly long. They're doing some modifications to it, as you can see, adding a new section over here on the right. They have a refreshment stand there in the middle where you can buy stuff to eat and drink. It's kind of the courtyard of the mosque out here. We didn't go inside, but it's connected to the mainland by a walkway. It's kind of heart-wrenching to go out there. Then we had dinner that night at a restaurant, and I'll document that separately. It's my favorite restaurant at the ITC Marath Hotel. It's called Peshawari, and so the next morning we got up, and that is my secretary. We went to Sanjay Gandhi Park, and we went to the Canary Caves. So these are the Canary Caves. These are carved by I guess you call them monks. They were carved by the monks way back when. They carved them in solid rock. And my secretary joined us. We had breakfast with her at Cafe Leopold that morning, Sunday morning, and then she went with us out here to Canary Caves, kind of spent the day with us, which was very nice to see Sujatha again. It's been a long time. It's been 10 years, I guess, since I've seen her, since 2014 when we came back for a brief visit. And how they carve these things in this solid rock, I really don't know. It must have taken them a long time. This is a worshiping room, a prayer room, I guess. You can see the detail of the carved elephants on the columns. And I published a separate video on the monkeys that were outside, and you can see that. It's called Mumbai Monkeys. Now our last stop for today was at the Dharavi slum, which if you saw Slumdog Millionaire, you saw what that looked like. But I didn't take any footage in Dharavi. But they have a number of businesses that they operate out of that slum, recycling of plastics and leather work, recycling of cardboard and that sort of thing. And the people work and live in the slum, and they seemed quite happy while we were there. They were all gainfully employed, but the conditions there are pretty awful. Anyway, this prayer room had a separate hallway that went around all around the columns in the back, and the policeman that was there, the park ranger guy, kind of took us on a tour and showed us some of the areas in the caves. Anyway, I'm going to publish another photo collage of some pictures that Mark Sweetman took, and I'll publish that separately. But I wanted to get this one out, so you can see what our couple of days in Mumbai look like. Love the place. Would love to come back again.